Right, on today's episode of the vlog, this is number 2, I'm going to speak about gaining phases, or as I like to call it, an improvement phase, because I think that sounds a little bit more positive. A lot of people get scared by the word gaining. Now, this phase is when you're going to win shows, it's when you're going to build that physique you've always wanted, and it's when you're going to be the most productive training. So, why do so many people struggle with it? It's pretty simple really. I think the word gaining can freak people out. If I was to say you're going to gain weight, most people take that in a negative light, but that's your emotional attachment to it. If I was to say to you, you're going to gain money, or gain knowledge, gain passion, even for some of you, gain Instagram followers, that's a good thing, isn't it? So it's looking at it from a point of view of we're improving ourselves, and that's what's going to get us on stage and get us looking the way we want. So why can't we look at a gaining phase with weight as a positive? Because it's not as simple as you're just gaining weight, remember that. I think what scares people is they just think in their head that they're going to go from being lean, or if you're not lean and you don't have much muscle, you're going to go from wherever you are to just being overweight. And it's not as simple as that. It's more about we're pushing body weight up so we can build muscle, and that is a must. If you want to get on stage and win, which most people do, you need muscle, you need tissue. Especially people really don't look at that enough in terms of bikini, but bikini competitors now, they do have tissue. That's what gives you that shape. So you have to get comfortable with pushing body weight up, muscle going on, strength going up, and also a little bit of body fat. Now, I'm going to throw up a photo of me up here that you can see. I know I'm not female, but I'm just using an example here. This is me stage lean, and then me now, and I am about 9-10 kilos heavier, and obviously my body fat's higher. I've not got as much abs, I am not as tanned, that doesn't count though, but a lot of people would look at that and they would be scared. But for me, I've done it so many times that I understand the process. I'm stronger, I'm performing better. Those areas that I know need brought up are getting brought up. Now, they'll still need to be brought up again in another gaining phase and another one after that. But being lean is not productive. It's not where you get your logbook to the highest numbers it's been. This is the strongest I've ever been. Not as much now, because obviously I know we're in lockdown, but when we were in the gym 6 weeks ago, it's the strongest I've been. And that will mean that it's the most tissue I've got and the most tissue I've ever had. And that's how you should always look at it. And I'm going to speak through in this video how we can look at it in a more positive light and how we can get better results with it. Don't worry though. I know a lot of people think, oh my God, this is so scary. Like, I'm going to gain loads of body fat. I'm not going to like the way I look, etc. Remember, it's an improvement phase, not a gaining phase. You will put on body fat, but you're not getting excessively fat, because that's going to be unproductive. If your body fat is really high, insulin sensitivity is not going to be as good. Your performance isn't going to be as good. And if you don't feel as good about how you look in the mirror, you're not going to follow the plan as well. So it is about improving your physique, not just getting you fat. I'm going to throw up a few examples on the screen just now. You'll see it of a few of my female clients or bikini competitors in gaining phases. Now, you'll notice that everyone holds body fat different. Everyone can cope with gaining weight differently, and this will come across here. So it'll be really applicable to yourself. So have a look at it. So while we're looking at your improvement phase, what we need to look at is bringing up the areas that need brought up, but also keeping body composition in a good place. And that is what people always worry about. As you can see here with Chloe, this is before she won the UQP British finals 2 years ago, and she was 52.5 kilos on stage. This photo is about 3 weeks ago, and she was 63. So that's 11 kilos up. Now, for 11 kilos up, you can see that we've put some good tissue on the delts. This shot doesn't show off, but we have put tissue on the glutes and hamstrings. But you can also see that we have kept her body composition in a good place. The way we track this is we look at the logbook numbers. Is she progressing lifts? Yes, it's the strongest she's ever been. But when you get scared about pushing up body weight, if you're following the plan, you're adhering, you're training hard, calories will only go up when they need to. So you're not going to lose that body composition too much. And you can see the improvements we've made. On the back shot, again, same two time periods. You don't have to worry about it. Like, her body comp is still bang on and she's still in a good position. The main thing is we're just looking to bring up the weak points. So we do need a little bit thicker on the glutes. Yes, she's got incredible insertion points there, but we do need a little bit more through the hamstrings. So we've been working on that. After that, on to the next shot. So here's Lisa. This one first. Now she's not tense there. She's not posing. This is when Lisa started with me. I think she was roughly 51 kilos. And then now we pushed her up to 63. Now that's a lot of weight, but as you'll see there, you can't really see too much, and that's what's amazing. Just adding that extra tissue. Here's a pose shot. Ladies, remember, always practice your posing, but you can see the difference. Now, what is that? That's muscle mass. So, because Lisa had trained before, but she wasn't used to training that intensity, going to failure, and she wasn't used to progressive overload. She also wasn't used to calories being high. She'd always kind of followed a really low calorie plan. Here, she was on 1,300 calories. Here, she was on 3,200. Now, her body composition is still really, really good. Why is that? Because she stuck to the plan. We brought the calories up slowly and brought the body weight up slowly. This is something you really, really need to look at, because you shouldn't be scared by it. You should just be focused on it. And you should be focusing on bringing up the areas that need to be better when you get on stage. So we knew that we needed more through the delts, as you can see there. Obviously this is posed, but we needed more through the delts. We needed more tissue all round. So this is the good position. Now this is where we start our dieting phase for our photo shoot, which is a lot better. The next one, Magda. So again, started about 51 and we were rimmed at 60 here. So good body composition to start with, got a well-balanced physique. We know what we need to bring up. Now I know this one again is posed, and this one isn't, but that doesn't matter. We've put tissue on the quads. Now all that is just pushing that foot up. Again with Magda, her calories before were 1,500. We had her up at 3,500. So don't be scared of food. Don't be scared of body weight. The other thing that you really need to look at for females is when Magda came to me here, her menstrual cycle was off. She wasn't having a period consistently. When we got her here, she was. And that's just down to slowly bringing up calories, slowly bringing up body weight. If you do it the right way and you don't just overeat and eat crap and don't just push way too hard, you will make progress. Like if you look at this here, we are thicker through the glutes and hamstrings. Obviously in this shot she is vacuuming, but a lot tighter here. Delts are bigger. And that is just through progressive overload, pushing body weight up and not being scared of it. At no point did any of these girls say, oh my God, my body weight's going up. They just are thinking about the long run, stepping on stage. So if you're in a position where you start where body composition isn't really there, you might need to pull down first. But if you've got a lean start point or lean-ish, just focus on progressive overload, increasing calories and really, really getting strong. The body weight will go up, but if you control it well, you'll be in a good position. The next part I would normally cover would be how to set up a gaining phase, but I don't need to because Vaughn's already covered that. It is on our YouTube channel. I will put the video here so you can look at it, but also just follow the link in my bio. The main things I think what I'll go into is common mistakes I see. So a lot of the time with the gaining phase, it's got to be more careful. Like a prep, you know what you're aiming for. A lot of the time with gaining phases, people just treat it like a holiday. They go and eat loads of shit. They don't hit their protein targets. They don't focus on their stress levels. They just kind of go a bit nuts. It still needs to be tracked and it still needs to be really careful, because obviously you can't gain weight and then put yourself in a worse position to then start dieting again. You're trying to push weight up, but we're trying to do it effectively. So slow and steady, just aiming to build muscle. That's one thing. I think another thing that I see a lot is people don't use progressive overload. They don't focus on progressively getting stronger over time, because that's a really, really good way to make sure you're adding on tissue. So a lot of the time I see training, like, it's still fluffy stuff, it's still like 15 to 20 reps, it's a lot of shit volume really. You have to really make sure that that's planned out and you know exactly what you're doing, because that's a good way to see what areas are getting stronger. It'll go along with your progress photos, and it's a good way to see if you can increase volume on areas that aren't going to get stronger. Now the last thing is this. I think I see this a lot. On prep, it's really easy for people to stick to the plan. As soon as someone on the screen there, as soon as they get to a gaining phase, they kind of just half-arse it, and that will show 100% when you get lean again, because if you've not put on tissue, it's purely down to your own effort. So you need to ask yourself, have you been sticking to the plan? What I'm going to go into next is just answering questions that a few people have asked, just ones that more than say 4 or 5 people have asked. So this will be on the screen in 2 seconds. Your body fat won't go that high in the gaining phase. And well, you will push up body fat, but you're not going to push up so much that your body composition goes to shit. So there's no real, you can't answer how high will body fat be pushed up, because everyone will be different. Some people need more tissue, some people are starting in a far leaner position. But you shouldn't look at it like, oh my god, how much body fat am I going to increase? Because if it's done in a productive manner, as I mentioned earlier, it's not going to really ruin body composition. In terms of pulling back down, or if it goes too high, should you pull back down? The way I always look at it is your leanest body part shouldn't lose its condition that much. So for example, if you've got rather lean quads, you shouldn't push up body fat so high that the quads are no longer lean. If you do, you can use a thing called a mini cut, where we just go in aggressively, pull calories down, and we, over a, depends on the person, but 8 to 10 week period, we just pull down your body fat, could even be 6 weeks, and then from there you would start your gaining phase again. This is also useful if appetite's not there, if recovery's not there, if progression in training's no longer there as well. But don't worry about how high should body fat be pushed. It's not really a case of that, it's more how much muscle can be put on. This one's a real good question, because it's one of them ones that it's too difficult to technically answer this. How much of the weight you're putting on the gaining phase, how much is muscle and how much is body fat? There's loads of factors that would depend. How hard you've worked over your gaining phase, genetic levels, like some people are non-responders or don't respond so well to resistance training, so they won't put on as much tissue. Those annoying people who look at a dumbbell and they grow will more than likely gain a fair bit more. It's really, really hard to tell how much is muscle and how much is fat. As long as you're looking at your body composition as you go and numbers in your logbook are going up, you're going to put on tissue. How much? It's really, really hard to guess. So I wouldn't really look at it from that aspect. I would just look at it like you're pushing body weight up to facilitate building muscle. The other part of this question that I've not put in was because when this person pushes up body fat, they find that, for example, some areas gain it more than others. So that example was glutes and chest area. What you've got to remember is some people just hold body fat more in one area. So for example, when I push body weight up, my back holds a lot of my body fat. So it will lose its leanness a lot faster than my front. Now that's not really an issue, it's just what happens. So some areas will gain more than others. Some people have like a pocket around their lower waist which will gain a lot of their fat. Other people it's around their hips. Don't worry about that. It happens to everyone. Just focus on the logbook numbers, the consistency, and focus on how well your physique's progressing in your progress photos. Approaching a gaining phase for someone who used to be overweight it's not really going to affect it too much. You would just have to look into a few things like, how does that person feel about pushing weight up? You would then just have to address the problems with that before you pushed. What you've got to remember is though, you're not going to enter a gaining phase unless you're in a position where body fat is relatively low, because if you did, the gaining phase isn't going to have much longevity and it's not going to be very effective. So if you used to be overweight and you're entering a gaining phase, chances are you're in a position where you've absolutely smashed a dieting phase. Now, if you could do that, you understand the process and you understand that although we're gaining weight, we're not going to push the body weight up to the level where it was before when you were overweight. So it would just take a little bit more work in terms of your mentality towards it and understanding the process. I also think though, once you start to see that the whole idea of a gaining phase is to improve your physique, you'd probably get around it a little bit. Plus, you'll probably just buy into the bigger picture. Obviously, I do understand that for someone that perhaps was overweight growing up, seeing the scales come up might not be as, might be quite hard to deal with. But once you start to look at the progress photos and the muscle you're putting on, then look at your logbook and how much stronger you're getting, that should make it a little bit easier. If you're unsure about it though, just drop me a message on Instagram and we can have a chat. With the vlog, if anyone wants to see last week's episode, just head over to the YouTube channel and I will be launching the next episode next Thursday.